a whisper of ancient roads. Hello, dear wanderer. Welcome to Sleepy Storyteller, your sanctuary of stories woven from the threads of history, science, and myth. I'm so glad you've joined me tonight for a journey unlike any other. As you settle into your cozy space, let the worries of the day melt away, and allow your mind to drift with me across ancient paths, under starlit skies, and through the whispers of time. Tonight, we embark on a sleep journey, a tale called The Peaceful Merchants of the Silk Road, Dreams Across Ancient Trade Routes. We'll wander together through the vast deserts and towering mountains of a world long past, following the footsteps of merchants who carried not just silk and spices, but stories, dreams, and the light of distant lands. Imagine with me now the soft clinking of camel bells, the warmth of a campfire flickering in the twilight, and the endless horizon stretching out before us. Are you ready to drift into this tale? Let's begin. Our journey starts not with a single step, but with a shimmer of light. For light, my friend, was a silent guide of the Silk Road, the beacon that led travelers through treacherous paths and endless nights. Before we meet the peaceful merchants who braved these ancient trade routes, let us first understand the magic of light itself, a force as old as the universe, a companion to humanity since the dawn of time. Light, it is everywhere, yet so often unnoticed. As you rest tonight, picture this, a single ray of sunlight breaking through the morning mist, illuminating a caravan of merchants as they load their wares. That light, so gentle and warm, carries with it a story of cosmic wonder. Did you know that the light touching your skin today began its journey millions of years ago? Born in the heart of stars, forged in fiery crucibles of energy, it traveled across the vastness of space, just to reach us here, on Earth. The science of light, physics as we call it, is a tale of particles and waves dancing together, a phenomenon called photons, tiny messengers of illumination, vibrating at frequencies that paint our world in color. But let us not linger too long in the science just yet. For tonight, light is not merely a subject of study, but a guide, a protector, a storyteller. On the Silk Road, which stretched over 4,000 miles from China to the Mediterranean, light was everything. By day, the sun's golden glow revealed the path through deserts and steppes. By night, the stars and moon offered navigation to weary travelers. And in the flickering flames of their campfires, merchants shared tales of distant lands, tales that we, too, will uncover as we wander deeper into this story. So close your eyes now, or simply soften your gaze. Let the rhythm of your breath slow in and out, like the steady steps of a camel plodding across the sand. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a bustling ancient city, perhaps Chang'an, the eastern gateway of the Silk Road in China, some 2,000 years ago. The air is alive with the scent of jasmine and spice, the chatter of traders bartering in a dozen tongues, and the distant hum of a world in motion. You're not here to trade, though. No, you are here to listen, to dream, to follow the merchants as they set out on a journey that will span continents and centuries. As we prepare to meet these peaceful merchants, let me share a whisper of history to ground us in their world. The Silk Road was not one path, but many a network of routes connecting east and west, thriving from around the 2nd century BCE to the 14th century CE. Named for the luxurious silk carried from China, it was a conduit for far more than goods. Ideas, religions, technologies, and cultures flowed along these paths, carried by merchants who were not warriors or kings, but ordinary souls with extraordinary courage. They braved bandits, harsh winters, and scorching deserts, guided by the light of the sun, the stars, and their own unyielding hope. Now let us drift now to our first chapter, a chapter where we join a small caravan at the very start of their journey. Picture this with me, a group of merchants, their camels laden with bolts of shimmering silk, jars of precious tea, and secrets of the East. Their leader, a kind-eyed man named Bao, adjusts his woven hat against the rising sun, his weathered face etched with the stories of 100 journeys. As they leave the safety of Chang'an's walls, a sense of wonder and uncertainty hangs in the air, for the road ahead is long, and the light they follow is both friend and mystery. Chapter 1. The Dawn of the Journey, Light as a Guide. Here we are, my friend, walking alongside Bao and his caravan as the first light of dawn kisses the earth. The city of Chang'an fades into the distance behind us, its towering pagodas and bustling markets now just a memory. Ahead lies the vastness of the Gobi Desert, a sea of sand and stone that stretches endlessly under sky, so wide it feels like a dream. But Bao is not afraid, for he knows the light will guide him, as it always has. Let us linger here for a moment and think about the science of this light, the sun's radiant gift. The sun, a star burning 93 million miles away, sends its energy to us in the form of electromagnetic waves, a spectrum of light, some visible, some not. To Bao and his merchants, this science is unknown, but they feel its power. The sun's rays warm their faces, dry their provisions, and cast long shadows that point the way. Did you know that the angle of those shadows helped ancient travelers navigate? By observing how the sun moved across the sky, they could tell direction and time, a natural compass carved in light and shadow. But light on the Silk Road was more than a tool. It was a symbol of promise. In the myths of ancient China, the sun was tied to the divine, a chariot driven by the god Shiha across the heavens, pulled by dragons of fire. Bao, though not a scholar, knows these stories passed down by his grandmother as they sat by the hearth. He believes that as long as the sun rises each day, his journey will be blessed. And so, as the caravan moves forward, he hums a quiet tune, a prayer to the light, asking for safe passage through the trials ahead. Imagine with me now the slow, rhythmic sway of the camels as they walk. Their hooves kick up clouds of golden dust that shimmer in the morning light, almost like tiny stars fallen to earth. The merchants chat softly among themselves, sharing tales of home, of loved ones waiting, of the marvelous goods they hope to trade in distant bazaars. One young boy, barely old enough to grow a beard, clutches a small bronze mirror, a gift for his sister, polished to reflect the light like a tiny sun of his own. Light, you see, is everywhere on this journey, in the tools they carry, in the stories they tell, in the hope that guides their every step. As the sun climbs higher, the heat begins to press down, a reminder of light's dual nature. It is life-giving, yes, but also relentless. Bao calls for a brief rest beneath a rare outcrop of rock, where the shade offers a moment of reprieve. The merchants sip water from leather skins, their eyes scanning the horizon for signs of danger, or perhaps for the next glimmer of light that will show them the way. And as they rest, Bao tells a story, a myth from the edges of the Silk Road, where light is said to be born. He speaks of a great mountain, far to the west, where the first rays of dawn are said to emerge from a hidden cave. In this cave, according to legend, lives a spirit of light, a being of pure brilliance who weaves the sun's rays each morning and scatters them across the world. The merchants listen, their faces softening, for in this harsh desert, a tale of beauty and wonder is a balm to the soul. And as Bao's voice carries on the wind, you too might feel a sense of peace, a reminder that even in the hardest journeys, there is light to be found. As Bao finishes his tale of the spirit of light in the hidden cave, the merchants rise once more, dusting the sand from their robes. The sun is now a fierce presence above them, its light both a blessing and a challenge. They adjust their wide-brimmed hats and wrap cloths around their faces to shield against the glare, for they know the desert is no place for the unprepared. And so, with a gentle nudge to the camels, they resume their slow march, their shadows stretching long and thin across the rippling dunes. Let us walk beside them now, feeling the warmth of the sand beneath our feet, even as we rest in the comfort of our own space. As you breathe deeply in and out, imagine the sheer vastness of this landscape. The Gobi Desert, one of the harshest places on Earth, was a crucible for Silk Road travelers. Historically, merchants like Bao faced temperatures that soared to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit by day and plummeted below freezing at night. Yet they pressed on, guided by the light of the sun, and an unyielding determination to connect distant worlds. Light, as we've touched upon, was their compass, but let us delve a little deeper into its science, in a way that feels like a gentle whisper. The sun's light, made of countless photons, travels at an unimaginable speed, 186,000 miles per second, crossing the void of space to reach us in just over 8 minutes. When it strikes the Earth, it scatters in the atmosphere, creating the blue of the sky, the golden hues of dawn, and the deep reds of dusk. To Bao, this is not physics, but magic. He sees the changing colors as omens. Red skies foretelling storms, clear blue promising safe travel. And as the light shifts, so does his path, a dance between nature and necessity. As the day wears on, the caravan approaches a small oasis, a rare patch of green amidst the endless beige. Palm trees sway gently in the hot breeze, their leaves casting dappled shadows on a shimmering pool of water. The merchants let out sighs of relief, their camels lowering their long necks to drink. Bao kneels by the water's edge, cupping his hands to splash coolness on his sun-warmed face. Light reflects off the surface, a mirror of the sky above, reminding us of how light bends and plays in our world. Did you know that this reflection is a simple trick of physics? Light rays bounce off the water at the same angle they strike it, a law called reflection, known to ancient minds long before it was named. But to Bao, this sparkling water is more than science. It's a gift from the tales of old. In Chinese folklore, oases like this were often guarded by spirits of the desert, benevolent beings who offered water to the worthy. Bao murmurs a quiet thanks, perhaps to these unseen guardians, or simply to the light that led him here. As he rests, the younger merchants gather under the shade, their laughter soft but bright, like the glint of sunlight on silk. One of them pulls out a small flute carved from bamboo and plays a haunting melody, a tune that seems to carry the weight of the desert itself. Imagine with me now sitting with these merchants as the heat of the day begins to wane. The sun dips lower, painting the sky in strokes of amber and rose, a canvas of light that signals the coming night. Bao looks to the horizon, calculating how far they've come, how far they must yet go. The first day on the Silk Road is but a whisper of the journey ahead, a journey that will take them through mountains, past ancient cities, and into the heart of legends. And as the light fades, so does the world around you soften, letting your thoughts drift, your breath slow, as we prepare to wander deeper into this tale. Chapter 2. The first stop, Dunhuang, Gateway of Stars. Let us drift now to a new chapter, several days into Bao's journey, as the caravan reaches its first great stop along the Silk Road. Picture this with me. The silhouette of towering sand dunes giving way to the faint glow of a city carved into the edge of the desert. This is Dunhuang, a jewel of the ancient world, often called the Gateway of Stars. It is a place where East meets West, where merchants from China, Central Asia, and beyond gather under the same sky, their voices a tapestry of languages, their goods a mosaic of cultures. As you rest tonight, imagine approaching Dunhuang with Bao and his companions, the air cooling as the sun sets, the first stars pricking the velvet darkness above. Historically, Dunhuang was a vital oasis town, flourishing from the 2nd century BCE onward. It stood at the crossroads of two major Silk Road routes, a place of rest, trade, and wonder. Here, merchants exchanged silk for glassware from Rome, tea for spices from India, and stories for secrets. But more than that, Dunhuang was a beacon of light, both literal and spiritual. Its name itself evokes brilliance, tied to the idea of blazing beacon, a fitting title for a city that guided travelers through the desert's darkness. Bao leads his caravan through the city gates, the flickering light of torches casting long shadows on sandstone walls. The streets are alive, even at twilight, merchants haggling over shimmering bolts of fabric, monks in saffron robes chanting softly, and children darting through the crowd with wide-eyed curiosity. Bao's face softens with relief, for Dunhuang is a sanctuary after the harsh desert crossing. He guides his camels to a caravanserai, a resting place for travelers, where straw beds and warm barley soup await. And as he unloads his wares, the light of oil lamps dances in his eyes, a reminder of the journey's next chapter. Let us pause here to think of light once more, not just the firelight of Duanhuang's lamps, but the starlight above. The science of starlight is a quiet marvel. Each twinkling point a message from the past. The light from the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, takes over 4 years to reach us, meaning we see it not as it is now, but as it was long ago. To the merchants of the Silk Road, stars were not just beauty, but necessity. They used them to navigate, aligning their paths with constellations like the Big Dipper, which pointed north. Bao, too, glances upward as he rests, tracing familiar patterns in the sky, whispering their names as if greeting old friends. But in Dunhuang, light is more than navigation, it is sacred. This city is home to the Mogeo Caves, a complex of hundreds of grottos carved into cliffs, filled with Buddhist art and scriptures. These caves, begun in the 4th century CE, glow with murals painted in mineral pigments, depictions of deities' heavens, and journeys illuminated by the flicker of pilgrims' candles. Bao has heard of these caves, though he has not yet seen them. Local traders speak of a particular painting, one of a goddess scattering light across the world, her hands cradling a glowing orb. It is said that to gaze upon this image is to invite protection on one's travels, a myth that weaves light into the very soul of this place. As night deepens over Dunhuang, Bao sits by a small fire outside the caravanserai, the scent of roasted lamb and cumin wafting through the air. Other merchants join him, their faces weathered but kind, each carrying tales of their own. One, a man from Samarkand, speaks of a legend from his homeland, a story of a star that fell to earth, becoming a gem of pure light that guided a lost king to safety. The others listen entranced, their eyes reflecting the fire's glow, their minds wandering to dreams of treasure and destiny. And as their voices murmur on, you too might feel the pull of sleep, the warmth of the fire, the safety of this ancient city wrapping around you like a blanket. Imagine with me now lying back under the vast Dunhuang sky, the stars above twinkling like the lights of 1,000 caravans. Bao's journey is far from over. There are mountains to cross, rivers to ford, and more cities to discover. But for tonight, he rests, and so can you. Let the rhythm of your breath match the gentle ebb of the desert wind, in and out, as we prepare to drift even deeper into this tale in the chapters to come. Chapter 3. Into the Sea of Death, Light, and the Body's Journey. Let us drift now to a new chapter, as Bao and his caravan bid farewell to the safety of Dunhuang and venture into one of the most treacherous stretches of the Silk Road. Picture this with me, the city's torchlights fading behind them as they step into the boundless expanse of the Taklamakan Desert. Known in ancient times as the Sea of Death, this desert's name is said to mean go in and you won't come out, a warning whispered by travelers for centuries. The dunes here tower like frozen waves, some reaching over 300 feet high, a shifting, golden ocean under a merciless sun. As you rest tonight, imagine walking alongside Bao, feeling the weight of the journey in each slow step, even as you remain in the comfort of your own space. Breathe deeply now in and out, as if matching the steady rhythm of the camels plodding through the sand. Historically, the Taklamakan was a deadly barrier along the Silk Road, spanning over 100,000 square miles in what is now Western China. Merchants like Bao faced not just scorching heat and bitter cold, but also blinding sandstorms that could bury entire caravans. Yet, they pressed on, guided by the light of day and the faint hope of reaching the next oasis. Light, as always, is their silent companion. But let us explore how it shapes not just their path, but their very bodies and minds. The science of light touches us in ways we often don't notice, especially when it comes to sleep and energy, something Bao and his companions feel deeply on this grueling journey. Did you know that light regulates our circadian rhythm, the internal clock that tells us when to wake and when to rest? Blue wavelengths from sunlight signal our brain to be alert by suppressing melatonin, a hormone that induces sleep. As the sun sets, The warmer red and orange tones allow melatonin to rise, easing us into slumber. For Bao, days in the desert mean long exposure to harsh light, keeping him vigilant, yet draining his strength as night offers little rest under the cold, starlit sky. Imagine with me now the caravan trudging forward under a relentless midday sun. Bao squints against the glare, his eyes aching from the brightness reflected off the endless sand. The human eye, a marvel of biology, adjusts to light through the pupil, which constricts in brightness to protect the retina. But prolonged exposure, as Bao endures, can strain the eyes and even affect mood, something modern science links to light's impact on serotonin levels, a chemical tied to happiness. Bao, of course, knows none of this. He simply feels the weight of the desert's light as both a guide and a burden. He wraps a cloth tighter around his head, seeking shade where there is none, and murmurs a quiet prayer for the sun to soften its gaze. But light in the Taklamakan is not just a physical presence. It is woven into the myths and fears of those who dare to cross it. Local lore speaks of mirages, illusions of water shimmering on the horizon, created by light bending through layers of hot and cool air. These phantom oases have led many travelers astray, a cruel trick of nature that Bao has heard of in whispered tales. One story, told by an old merchant back in Dunhuang, speaks of a cursed caravan that followed a mirage into the heart of the desert, vanishing forever, their spirits now said to wander as flickering lights in the night. Bao shakes off such thoughts, but as the heat shimmers ahead, even he wonders if the desert plays tricks on his tired eyes. As the day wears on, the caravan finds a brief respite in the shadow of a massive dune, a temporary shelter from the sun's unyielding stare. The merchants collapse onto the sand, their breaths heavy, their camels grunting as they kneel. Bao passes around a waterskin, rationing the precious liquid with care. The lack of light's warmth here in the shade feels like a small mercy. But night will bring its own challenges. Historically, Silk Road travelers often traveled at dawn and dusk to avoid the midday heat, resting during the hottest hours. Bao follows this wisdom, knowing that light's cycle dictates their survival as much as their path. Let us linger here for a moment, as the sun begins its slow descent, casting long, golden shadows across the dunes. The air cools slightly, and a sense of quiet settles over the group. One of the younger merchants, a boy named Wei, gazes at the horizon, his face etched with exhaustion but also wonder. He points to a distant shimmer, a real oasis, perhaps, or just another mirage. Bao smiles faintly, encouraging the boy's hope, for in this sea of death, hope is as vital as water. And as the light fades into twilight, you too might feel softening, a gentle pull toward rest, as we prepare to journey onward in our story. Let us wander deeper into this tale now, to a time after many grueling days in the Taklamakan, as Bao's caravan emerges on the other side, weary but alive. Picture this with me, the harsh desert giving way to the fertile edges of an ancient city, surrounded by orchards of apricot trees and the distant peaks of the Pamir Mountains. This is Kashgar, vibrant crossroads of the Silk Road, nestled in what is now China's Xinjiang region. Known as a melting pot of cultures even 2,000 years ago, Kashgar was where merchants from China, Persia, India, and beyond met to trade their goods and ideas, blending under the same sun. As you settle deeper into your cozy space tonight, imagine approaching Kashgar with Bao, the scent of fresh bread and roasted nuts wafting through the air, the clamor of a bustling bazaar growing louder with each step. Historically, Kashgar was a strategic hub from at least the 2nd century BCE, sitting at the junction of routes connecting East Asia to Central Asia and beyond. It was a place of exchange, silk for jade, tea for saffron, and stories for philosophies. But more than that, Kashgar was a city of light, its markets illuminated by oil lamps and torches, its people drawn together by the shared glow of commerce and curiosity. Bao guides his caravan through narrow, winding streets, the camels snorting at the unfamiliar bustle. Merchants call out in a dozen tongues, their stalls piled high with treasures. Glittering gemstones from Afghanistan, intricate carpets from Persia, and delicate porcelain from China. The light of a late afternoon sun filters through woven canopies above the market, casting patterns of shadow and brightness on the cobblestones. Bao's tired eyes brighten at the sight. For Kashgar means trade, rest, and the chance to replenish supplies for the journey ahead. Let us think of light once more, not just the sunlight of Kashgar's markets, but the light within the human connections forged here. Science tells us that light influences not just our sleep, but our social bonds. Exposure to natural light boosts mood through serotonin production, something Bao feels instinctively as he laughs with a Persian trader over a cup of spiced tea. Their shared smiles, warmed by the sun's glow, bridge the gap between languages and lands. Did you know that cultures along the Silk Road often gathered at twilight, a time when softer light fosters intimacy and storytelling? Bao, too, finds himself drawn into such a circle as evening falls, the lamplight flickering on eager faces. But in Kashgar, light also carries the weight of legend, woven into the spiritual tapestry of this crossroads. One tale, shared by a local elder, speaks of a sacred fire kept burning in a hidden temple on the city's edge, a flame said to have been lit by a wandering prophet centuries ago. This eternal light, the story goes, protects travelers who honor it with a small offering of incense or prayer. Bao listens intrigued, and though he is not of this land's faith, he feels a pull to respect its customs. Later, as he passes a small shrine aglow with candlelight, he pauses to bow his head, a quiet nod to the light that unites all who journey. Imagine with me now, sitting with Bao in the cooling evening of Kashgar, the market's energy softening into a hum of murmured deals and laughter. The stars emerge above, brighter here than in the desert's haze, a reminder of the vastness of this journey. Bao's caravan will soon move on toward the towering passes of the Pamirs and the lands beyond. But for tonight they rest, and so can you. Let the sounds of Kashgar fade into a gentle lullaby, your breath slowing in and out as we prepare for the next chapter of our sleep journey. Let us drift now to a new chapter, as Bao and his caravan leave the vibrant markets of Kashgar behind and turn their faces toward the towering Pamir Mountains. Picture this with me, the flat desert lands giving way to rugged foothills, the air growing thinner and colder with each step. Known as the roof of the world, the Pamirs rise to dizzying heights, some peaks piercing the sky at over 20,000 feet. These mountains, straddling what is now the border of China, Tajikistan, and Afghanistan, were a formidable barrier on the Silk Road, a test of endurance for even the hardiest of merchants. As you rest tonight in the comfort of your own sanctuary, imagine trudging alongside Bao, feeling the chill of the mountain wind, even as you remain warm and safe. Breathe deeply now, in and out, as if matching the labored breaths of the camels climbing steep, rocky paths. Historically, the Pamir Mountains were both a physical and symbolic divide on the Silk Road, separating the eastern and western reaches of this ancient network. Merchants like Bao faced avalanches, narrow cliffside trails, and sudden snowstorms, yet they pressed on, driven by the promise of trade and the light that guided their way through perilous passes. Light, as ever, is their faithful companion. But let us explore how it shaped the technologies that aided Silk Road travelers, blending science with ancient ingenuity. Did you know that light was harnessed in remarkable ways by cultures along these routes? One such innovation was the use of reflective surfaces, like polished bronze mirrors, to signal across vast distances. In the Pamirs, where fog and snow could obscure vision, some caravans carried small mirrors to catch the sun's rays and flash messages to others, warnings of danger or signals of safe passage. The science behind this is simple yet profound. Light reflects off a smooth surface at the same angle it strikes, allowing precise communication over miles. Imagine with me now, Bao pausing at a high ridge, the wind whipping at his cloak as he pulls a small bronze disc from his pack. He angles it toward the sun, now a pale orb behind thinning clouds, and sends a quick flash of light down the valley to a trailing group of merchants. His weathered face creases with focus, for in these mountains a single signal could mean the difference between life and loss. This ancient technology, though rudimentary to us, was a lifeline, a way to pierce the isolation of the Pamirs with the power of light itself. But light in these mountains is not just a tool. It is steeped in the myths and reverence of those who cross them. Local tales whispered by shepherds and traders in Kashgar speak of the Pamirs as the abode of celestial beings, spirits of light who dwell among the highest peaks, guarding sacred paths. One story tells of a merchant who, lost in a blizzard, saw a glowing figure guiding him to safety, a manifestation of the mountain's protective light. Bao has heard such tales, and though he is a practical man, the eerie glow of dawn on the snow-capped peaks stirs something in him, a quiet awe for the forces beyond his understanding. As the caravan ascends higher, the air grows biting, and the light takes on a crystalline clarity, unfiltered by the dust of the desert below. Bao calls for a rest near a small cave, its mouth sheltered from the wind. The merchants huddle together, their breath forming faint clouds in the cold, their camels pressed close for warmth. Historically, Silk Road travelers often used natural shelters like this, lighting small fires to fend off the chill. The flicker of their tiny flame dances on the cave walls, a reminder of light's dual role as both guide and comfort. Bao watches the shadows play, his thoughts drifting to home, to the warm glow of lanterns in Chang'an. And you too might feel a sense of coziness, wrapped in your own warmth as we journey on. Let us linger here for a moment, as the sun dips low, casting the Pamirs in shades of violet and gold. The path ahead is still treacherous. Narrow ledges and hidden crevasses await, but Bao's resolve holds firm. The light, though fading, promises another dawn, another chance to conquer the roof of the world. And as the first stars prick the deepening sky, a sense of peace settles over the group, a peace you can share, letting your breath slow in and out as we prepare to descend into the next chapter of our tale. Chapter 6. Samarkand's Golden Glow Light of Legend. Let us wander deeper into this sleep journey now, to a time after many arduous days in the Pamir Mountains, as Bao's caravan finally descends into the fertile valleys of Central Asia. Picture this with me. The jagged peaks giving way to rolling plains, and in the distance, the shimmering outline of a city that seems to glow with the promise of dreams. This is Samarkand, a legendary stop on the Silk Road, often called the Pearl of the East. Situated in what is now Uzbekistan, Samarkand was a beacon of culture and wealth over 2,000 years ago, a place where merchants, scholars, and artisans converged under a sky of endless possibility. As you nestle deeper into your restful space tonight, imagine approaching Samarkand with Bao, the air sweet with the scent of blooming gardens, the faint hum of a bustling metropolis growing louder. Historically, Samarkand was a cornerstone of the Silk Road from at least the 4th century BCE, flourishing under various empires, including the Sogdians and later the Timurids. It was a city of trade, ivory from Africa, turquoise from Persia, silk from China, but also a city of ideas, where astronomy, poetry, and art thrived. And above all, it was a city of light, its domes and minarets reflecting the sun by day, its streets aglow with torches by night. Bao leads his caravan through the city's grand gates, carved with intricate patterns that catch the late afternoon light. The streets are a kaleidoscope of color. Merchants in vibrant robes, stalls overflowing with spices and jewels, and the gleam of polished metalwork everywhere. Bao's weary face lifts in wonder, for Samarkand is unlike anything he has seen, a place where the light seems to carry the weight of legend. He guides his camels to a bustling square, where a fountain sparkles under the sun, its water reflecting 1,000 tiny suns, a sight that soothes the ache of a long journey. Let us think of light once more, not just the radiant glow of Samarkand's beauty, but its role in the intellectual achievements of this ancient hub. Science flourished here, particularly in the study of light and astronomy. Did you know that Samarkand was home to early observatories, where scholars like Ulugh in later centuries mapped the stars with incredible precision. Even in Bao's time, Sogdian astronomers used tools like the astrolabe, a device reliant on light and angles, to predict celestial events, aiding navigation for merchants. Bao, unaware of such intricacies, still feels the city's reverence for the sky, as he gazes at the same stars those scholars studied, seeking guidance for the road ahead. But in Samarkand, light is also the heart of its mythology, a thread in the stories that bind its people. One legend, shared by a local storyteller in the market, speaks of a golden tree at the city center, a mythical relic said to radiate light so pure it could heal any ailment. Pilgrims and traders alike sought this tree, believing its glow was a gift from the heavens. Bao listens captivated, and though he doubts the tree's existence, the tale stirs a longing for something beyond the mundane, a light of hope after the Pamir's trials. As evening falls, the city's torches flare to life, their glow mirroring the golden tree of lore, a beacon in the night. Imagine with me now, sitting with Bao in a quiet corner of Samarkand's market, the day's clamor fading into a gentle murmur. A cool breeze carries the scent of jasmine and roasted lamb, the light of a nearby lamp casting soft shadows on his weathered hands. The journey is far from over. There are still deserts to cross, rivers to navigate, and distant shores to reach. But for tonight, Samarkand offers respite. And so, can you rest? Let the golden glow of this ancient city wrap around you like a warm embrace, your breath slowing in and out as we prepare for the next chapter of our sleep journey. Chapter 7. The Persian Heartland. Light in Sacred Beliefs. Let us drift now to a new chapter, as Bao and his caravan leave the golden glow of Samarkand behind and journey westward into the heart of the Persian lands. Picture this with me. The rolling plains transforming into arid hills dotted with ancient fortifications, the air carrying the scent of myrrh and saffron. This is the realm of the Parthian Empire, and later the Sassanid Empire, a vital stretch of the Silk Road in what is now Iran, around the 1st century CE during Bao's time. Here, the trade routes pulse with life, connecting the riches of the East to the gateways of the West, a land where empires have risen and fallen under the same unchanging sky. As you settle deeper into your restful space tonight, imagine walking beside Bao, the sun casting a warm, amber light over the caravan as they approach a bustling Persian city, perhaps Ctesiphon, the imperial capital near modern-day Baghdad. Historically, Persia was a linchpin of the Silk Road, a cultural and economic bridge between East and West from the 3rd century BCE onward. Merchants like Bao traded silk and tea for glassware, wool, and precious metals. But they also encountered a profound reverence for light, woven into the spiritual fabric of this ancient land. Ctesiphon, with its towering arch and sprawling markets, hums with activity, a beacon for travelers weary from the long road. Light, as always, guides Bao's path. But let us explore its deeper meaning in the religions that flourished along the Silk Road, particularly in Persia. Did you know that light held a sacred place in Zoroastrianism, the dominant faith of the Sassanid Empire? Zoroastrians worshipped Ahura Mazda, the god of light and wisdom, and maintained eternal fires in temples as symbols of divine purity. Fire, a source of light, was never extinguished, tended by priests who saw it as a conduit to the divine. Bao, though unfamiliar with these beliefs, feels a quiet awe as he passes a fire temple on the city's edge, its flames flickering through an open archway, casting a golden glow that seems to pulse with life. Imagine with me now Bao pausing at the market in Ctesiphon, his camels laden with silk as he barters with a Persian trader clad in flowing robes. The trader, noticing Bao's curiosity about the temple, shares a teaching of Zoroastrianism, that light is not just physical, but a metaphor for truth and righteousness, a force to banish the darkness of chaos. Bao nods, though the words are foreign to him. Yet he feels a kinship in the idea, for light has guided him through deserts and mountains, a protector in its own right. The science of firelight, though unknown to them, mirrors this symbolism. Flames emit visible light through the energy of combustion, a process where heat excites particles to glow, illuminating their world. But light's sacred role extends beyond Zoroastrianism. In this crossroads of faith for Persia was a melting pot where Buddhism, Christianity, and Manichaeism also took root along the Silk Road. In Manichaeism, a religion blending elements of Zoroastrianism and Christianity, light was seen as the essence of the soul, trapped in a material world of darkness, striving for liberation. Bao hears whispers of these ideas in the market, tales of a cosmic battle between light and shadow, a story that lingers in his mind as the sun sets, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold. Such myths resonate with the harsh beauty of his journey, a reminder that light, in all its forms, is a universal language. As night falls over Ctesiphon, Bao finds rest in a caravanserai, a sturdy inn for travelers, its courtyard lit by oil lamps that cast a soft, inviting glow. The merchants gather around a small fire, sharing bread and dates, their voices low and melodic, their faces softened by the light's warmth. Historically, Persian caravanserais were vital to the Silk Road, offering safety and community in a land often fraught with bandits and war. Bao feels the weight of his journey lift, if only for a night, and you too might sense a gentle ease, letting the flickering firelight of Ctesiphon lull your thoughts as we prepare to wander onward. Chapter 8. The Mediterranean Edge, Light at Journey's End. Let us journey deeper into this tale now, as Bao and his caravan press on from the Persian heartland, crossing the final stretches of the Silk Road toward the edges of the Mediterranean world. Picture this with me. The arid landscapes giving way to olive groves and vineyards, the air tinged with the faint salt of a distant sea. They near Antioch, a grand city in what is now southern Turkey, a western terminus of the Silk Road during the 1st century CE. Once a thriving hub under Roman rule, Antioch was a gateway to the Mediterranean, a place where East met West in a dazzling confluence of culture, trade, and light. As you nestle into your cozy space tonight, imagine approaching Antioch with Bao, the city's white stone walls gleaming under the late afternoon sun, the distant shimmer of the Orontes River reflecting the sky's deep blue. Historically, Antioch was one of the great cities of the ancient world. Founded in the 4th century BCE and flourishing under the Romans as a center of commerce and learning. Merchants like Bao brought silk, spices, and porcelain from the east, trading for wine, olive oil, and glass from the west. Their goods carried onward by ship to Rome and beyond. But more than trade, Antioch was a city bathed in light, its temples and forums illuminated by the Mediterranean sun, its nights aglow with torches and early forms of street lighting. Bao leads his caravan through the city's bustling agora, the central marketplace alive with the shouts of vendors and the clink of coins. The light here feels different, softer, diffused by the humid air, yet vibrant in the way it dances off polished marble and mosaics. Let us consider light once more not just as a physical presence, but as a symbol of culmination for Bao's long journey. Did you know that the Mediterranean's clear skies and abundant sunlight influenced ancient architecture, with open courtyards and atriums designed to capture natural light? The Romans in Antioch built with this in mind, their structures amplifying daylight to create spaces of awe. Bao, though unaware of such intent, feels the grandeur, his tired eyes drinking in the brightness as a sign of journey's end. But light in Antioch also carries the weight of science and innovation, for this was a city where Greek and Roman knowledge of optics began to take shape. Scholars like Hero of Alexandria, though later in history, experimented with light's properties, using mirrors to reflect beams and lenses to focus rays, laying groundwork for future discoveries. Bao encounters a simpler marvel, a glassblower crafting delicate vessels that catch the sunlight in prismatic hues, a craft traded along the Silk Road from the Middle East to China. The science is subtle but present. Light refracts through glass, bending and splitting into colors, a phenomenon that fascinates Bao as he watches, reminded of the desert mirages that once deceived him. Imagine with me now, Bao standing at the edge of Antioch, gazing toward the distant Mediterranean Sea, as the sun dips low, turning the water into a sheet of molten gold. Local legends speak of the sea as a realm of light, a mirror to the heavens where the sun god Helios rests each night, his chariot sinking below the waves. Bao, though far from home, feels a quiet connection to this tale, for light has been his guide across thousands of miles, from the dawn in Chang'an to this twilight in Antioch. Historically, the Mediterranean marked the western edge of the Silk Road for many merchants, a place to hand off goods to seafaring traders. And for Bao, it is a moment of reflection, a pause before he turns back toward the east. As night settles over Antioch, Bao rests near the river. The city's lights, twinkling like stars, fall into earth. The journey has been long, spanning deserts, mountains, and empires. But here, at the edge of the known world, he feels a sense of completion. The merchants share a quiet meal of flatbread and olives, their laughter mingling with the gentle lap of water. And you, too, can let this peace wash over you, your breath slowing in and out as we prepare for the final chapters of our sleep journey. Chapter 9. The return begins. Light's impact on the mind. Let us drift now into a new chapter, as Bao and his caravan prepare to turn back from the western edge of the Silk Road in Antioch, beginning the long journey home to Chang'an. Picture this with me. The Mediterranean's golden twilight fading behind them as they load their camels with new treasures, glassware, olive oil, and wool from the west, to carry back across deserts and mountains. The road ahead is familiar yet daunting, for though they've walked it once, the return journey carries the weight of months away from home, a quiet longing mingling with the weariness in their bones. As you rest deeper in your sanctuary tonight, imagine standing with Bao at the outskirts of Antioch, the first light of dawn touching the horizon, casting long shadows over the caravan as they set out eastward. Historically, the return journey for Silk Road merchants was often as perilous as the outward trek, if not more so. Laden with valuable goods, they became targets for bandits, while the fatigue of months on the road tested their endurance. Bao feels this burden, yet the light of the rising sun stirs a flicker of resolve in him, a reminder of all he has overcome to reach this point. His thoughts turn inward, to memories of home and the path that awaits. Light, their ever-present guide, shapes not just their path, but their very minds. So let us explore its psychological impact on travelers like Bao. Did you know that light profoundly affects our mental state through its influence on hormones and brain activity? Natural sunlight boosts serotonin levels, a neurotransmitter tied to mood and happiness, helping to combat feelings of isolation or despair. For Bao, long days under the open sky, despite their harshness, offer moments of clarity and hope, countering the loneliness of endless travel. Conversely, prolonged darkness or overcast days, common in mountain passes, can lower serotonin and heighten fatigue, a challenge he faces as clouds often gather on the return through Persia. Imagine with me now, Bao walking through a quiet stretch of arid land just beyond Antioch, the sun climbing higher, its warmth seeping into his tired frame. The psychological lift of morning light is subtle, but real. Science shows that exposure to bright light early in the day helps reset the circadian rhythm, improving focus and energy. Bao, unaware of such mechanisms, simply feels a renewed sense of purpose with each dawn, his mind sharper as he calculates the days until the next oasis. Yet, the glare of midday sometimes brings a heaviness, a reminder of the desert trials ahead, and he shields his eyes with a cloth, seeking balance in light's dual nature as both ally and adversary. But light's impact on the mind extends beyond science into the realm of emotion and myth, for Bao's reflections are colored by the stories he's gathered along the way. In Persia, he learned of light as a symbol of divine truth, in Samarkand as a healing force. And now, as he journeys back, he carries these ideas like lanterns in his thoughts. One night, camped under a starlit sky, he recalls a tale from Kashgar about a merchant whose dreams were guided by a single star, a light that showed him visions of home when despair loomed. Bao gazes upward, picking out a bright star in the constellation of Orion, and wonders if it too hold a message for him, a beacon for his weary soul. As the caravan retraces familiar paths through Persian lands, Bao's mind wanders to the faces of his family, the soft glow of a lantern in his modest home in Chang'an, the laughter of his children as they played in its light. Historically, the psychological strain of long journeys on the Silk Road was immense. Merchants often spent a year or more away, battling homesickness alongside physical hardship. Light in Bao's memory becomes a tether to those he loves, a symbol of warmth and reunion. And as the sun sets on another day of travel, casting a rosy hue over the hills, you, too, might feel a gentle pull toward comfort, letting your thoughts soften as we journey on. Chapter 10. Nearing Home, a meditation on light and rest. Let us wander into the final chapter of our tale, as Bao and his caravan, after months of retracing their steps through Persia, Central Asia, and the deserts of the East, finally near the familiar lands of China. Picture this with me. The towering dunes of the Gobi Desert once more giving way to the fertile plains near Chang'an, the eastern heart of the Silk Road. The air grows softer, scented with rice fields and blooming lotus. And in the distance, the city's pagodas rise like old friends under a pale morning sky. For Bao, this is not just a return, it is a completion, a circle closed by the light that guided him every step of the way. As you nestle into the deepest calm of your restful space tonight, imagine standing with Bao on the final stretch, the exhaustion of a year-long journey etched into his weathered face, yet a quiet joy shining in his eyes as home draws near. Historically, returning to Chang'an marked a triumph for Silk Road merchants, a chance to sell their hard-won goods, reunite with family, and rest before the next inevitable journey. Bao's camels plod slower now, their burdens lightened by trades along the way, and the first light of dawn bathes the path in a golden promise, a promise of rest, of peace, of stories to share. Let us reflect on light one last time, not as a guide or a symbol, but as a companion to rest, the very essence of this sleep journey. Did you know that light, or its absence, is key to the deepest stages of slumber? As night falls, the brain's pineal gland releases melatonin in response to darkness, signaling it's time to sleep, a process vital for recovery after physical and mental strain. For Bao, the dimming light of evening as he nears Chang'an feels like an invitation, a cue to let go of vigilance and embrace the comfort of home. Modern science confirms what he feels instinctively. Soft, warm light or complete darkness soothes the mind, preparing it for dreams. Imagine with me now, Bao pausing at a small roadside shrine just outside Chang'an, offering a quiet thanks to the forces, be they spirits, gods, or simply the light itself, that protected him across thousands of miles. In Chinese tradition, light often symbolized renewal and harmony. A fitting thought as Bao stands on the threshold of return. He pictures the lanterns of the city glowing in welcome, their warm flickers a mirror to the stars above. And in this moment, his journey feels like a dream woven of light, from the first dawn in the east to the last twilight in the west. Historically, Chang'an's lantern festivals, though perhaps not in Bao's exact era, would later celebrate such homecomings, illuminating the night with hope. But beyond history and science, light in this final moment is a personal story for Bao, and for you, as we near the end of our tale. As the caravan enters the city gates, the bustle of Chang'an welcomes them, merchants calling out, children running to greet fathers and brothers, and the soft glow of evening settling over all. Bao unloads his final goods, his hands trembling not with fatigue but with quiet emotion, and finds his family waiting, their faces lit by a single lantern, its light a beacon of all he holds dear. And as he embraces them, the world fades to a gentle stillness, a stillness you can share, letting the light of this story dim into a peaceful haze. Now let us rest here together, in the sanctuary of this ancient city, in the warmth of homecoming. Picture yourself beside Bao, or perhaps in your own place of comfort, where light, be it sunlight, starlight, or the soft glow of memory, wraps around you like a blanket. Our journey along the Silk Road ends as it began, with a whisper of tranquility, a reminder that light guides us not just through physical paths, but through the landscapes of dreams. So breathe deeply now, in and out, letting each breath carry you deeper into rest, into sleep, into the quiet wonders that await in the night. Chapter 11. Echoes of the Road. Reflections under Starlight. Let us drift now into an extended chapter as Bao, settled back in Chang'an with his family, finds his mind wandering to the echoes of the Silk Road. Picture this with me. A quiet evening in his modest home, the lantern light casting a warm glow over a simple meal of rice and steamed fish. Outside, the city hums softly, its markets winding down as the night deepens. But Bao's thoughts are far away, wandering back to the deserts, mountains, and cities that shaped his journey. The light of memory flickers in his mind, a tapestry of moments illuminated by the sun, stars, and fires that guided him across continents. As you rest deeper in your sanctuary tonight, imagine sitting with Bao in this quiet space. The weight of his travels, now a story to be told, a legacy carried in the soft glow around him. Historically, Silk Road merchants like Bao often returned with more than goods. They brought tales, customs, and perspectives that enriched their communities in Chang'an, a city known as a cultural melting pot during the Han and Tang dynasties. Bao feels this transformation. His once narrow world expanded by the light of 1,000 encounters, from the mirages of the Taklamakan to the golden domes of Samarkand. His fingers trace the edge of a Persian glass vial, a memento of his journey, reflecting the lantern's light like a tiny star. Let us reflect once more on light, this time as a mirror to the mind's journey, a force that shapes how we remember and dream. Did you know that light influences not just our waking hours, but the very nature of our memories? Studies in modern neuroscience suggest that bright, vivid experiences, often tied to sunlight or intense illumination, embed more strongly in our recollection, creating emotional anchors. For Bao, the blinding midday sun of the Gobi Desert, the crystalline dawn in the Pamirs, and the torch-lit markets of Kashgar are etched into his soul, moments of hardship and wonder that flare brightly when he closes his eyes. Even now, in the dim comfort home, those memories shimmer, guiding his thoughts as surely as they once guided his steps. Imagine with me now, Bao stepping outside into the cool night air of Chang'an, the stars above forming familiar patterns he traced on countless desert evenings. He recalls a moment in Dunhuang, under a sky much like this, when the starlight seemed to whisper promises of safe passage, a memory tied to the science of light's journey. For each star's glow is a message from eons past, traveling millions of years to reach us. Bao, of course, knows no such facts, yet he feels a connection to those distant lights, a sense that they watched over him from Chang'an to Antioch and back. His breath slows as he gazes upward, a quiet peace settling over him. And you, too, might feel that stillness, letting the starlight of memory ease your mind. But these echoes of the road are also steeped in the myths Bao gathered, stories of light that linger like embers in his thoughts. He remembers the Zoroastrian fire temples of Persia, their eternal flames a symbol of truth, and wonders if his own journey burned away doubts, leaving clarity in its wake. He thinks of the golden tree of Samarkand, a legend of healing light, and feels a warmth in his heart, as if the tale mended unseen wounds from a road. These stories, shared by fellow merchants and locals, are as much a treasure as the silk he traded, and as he sits under the Chang'an sky, they weave into his dreams, a luminous thread connecting past to present. Chapter 12. A Deeper Return. Reimagining the Silk Road's Light. Let us wander even deeper into this sleep journey, as Bao's reflections take him back to the Silk Road in dream and memory, revisiting the places where light shaped his path. Picture this with me, his mind drifting as he rests in Chang'an, the world blurring into a vision of the Taklamakan Desert once more, the sea of death, where the sun blazed without mercy. He sees again the endless dunes, their golden crest shimmering under sky so vast it seemed to swallow time itself, and feels the weight of that light, both a guide and a test, as if he walks the sands anew in his slumber. As you settle into the deepest layers of calm tonight, Imagine joining Bao in this dreamscape, standing amidst the Taklamakan's harsh beauty, yet safe in your own space. Let us linger on the science of light's intensity here. From the desert, sunlight is unfiltered, its ultraviolet rays strong enough to damage skin and eyes over time, a danger merchants faced without modern protection. Bao endured this silently, wrapping cloths around his face, unaware that prolonged exposure could alter mood through overstimulation of the brain's visual cortex. Yet in memory recalls not just the strain, but the awe, how the light revealed hidden paths in the sand, guiding him toward oases that seemed like miracles. Now let his dream shift, carrying us to the Pamir Mountains, the roof of the world, where light took on a crystalline purity in the thin, cold air. Bao remembers the dawn breaking over snow-capped peaks, each ray sharp and piercing, illuminating narrow trails where a single misstep could mean disaster. Historically, the Pamirs tested travelers with altitude sickness alongside treacherous terrain, symptoms worsened by bright light reflecting off snow, a phenomenon now called snow blindness, damaging the cornea through UV exposure. Bao in his dream feels again the sting in his eyes, yet also the wonder, as if the light itself was a spirit of the mountains, guiding him through peril with an unspoken promise. Imagine with me now the dream drifting to Samarkand, the pearl of the East, where light glowed not just from the sun, but from the city's very soul. Bao sees the market's oil lamps flickering in his mind, their warm hues dancing on turquoise tiles and woven carpets, a contrast to the desert's harsh glare. He recalls the legend of the golden tree, a mythical source of healing light, and feels in this reverie that its glow touches him still, a balm to the aches of memory. The psychological comfort of such stories, science suggests, lies in their power to reframe hardship. Light in myth becomes a protector, easing the mind's burden as Bao lives his journey. Let us follow this dream further, to Dunhuang, the gateway of stars, where starlight and cave murals painted with divine light first stirred Bao's sense of wonder. He pictures the Mogeo caves, their walls alive with deities scattering rays of brilliance, a sight that felt like a blessing before the Taklamakan's trials. Historically, Dunhuang's art blended Buddhist, Taoist, and local beliefs, often depicting light as enlightenment, a concept Bao felt instinctively, even if unnamed. In this dream, the cave's glow wraps around him like a shield, and you too might sense that warmth, letting it quiet your thoughts as we weave through these memories. Epilogue. Light eternal, a final sleep meditation. Let us now glide into a final, gentle epilogue, as Bao's dreams and memories of the Silk Road settle into a timeless stillness, a place beyond journeys where light becomes eternal. Picture this with me, a boundless landscape, neither desert nor mountain nor city, but a fusion of all he has seen, a golden horizon where the sun neither rises nor sets, its glow a constant, soothing presence. Here, Bao walks no longer as a merchant bound by trade, but as a wanderer of the spirit, carried by the light that has been his guide, his protector, his story across thousands of miles. As you rest in the deepest sanctuary of your mind tonight, imagine yourself in this eternal space with Bao, or perhaps in your own realm of calm, where light, be it sunlight, moonlight, or the flicker of a cherished memory, hold you gently. Let us ponder light's ultimate gift, its ability to connect us across time and distance, even in sleep. Science tells us that dreams often draw on vivid imagery tied to light, processing our experiences as we rest, while cultures along the Silk Road saw dreams as journeys illuminated by divine radiance. For Bao, this eternal light is both a bridge between his past and the restful unknown of slumber. Imagine with me now, standing on this golden horizon, the light soft and all-encompassing, dissolving the edges of thought into pure peace. Bao's journey along the Silk Road, through Chang'an, Dunhuang, Kashgar, Samarkand, Antioch, and back, becomes a single luminous thread, a story told not in words, but in the glow of countless dawns and dusks. Historically, the Silk Road was a conduit of connection, its travelers weaving a web of light through trade and tales. And now, as Bao rests in this dream, that web wraps around him, around us, a reminder that every journey finds its home in stillness. So let us linger here in this space of light eternal, where the worries of the road, of the day, of the world, fade into a whisper. Feel your breath slow in and out, each exhale carrying you deeper into rest, into a sleep as vast and gentle as the Silk Road itself. The light that guided Bao guides you now not to a destination, but to a dream, a sanctuary, a quiet wonder that awaits just beyond the next breath. Rest here, dear wanderer, under this endless glow, and let the story of light carry you through the night. Let us drift now into another chapter of quiet reflection, as Bao, resting in the familiar embrace of Chang'an, finds a spirit drawn back to the Taklamakan Desert, the sea of death that tested his endurance like no other place. Picture this with me, a dreamscape of endless golden dunes stretching beneath a sky so blue it seems painted by a divine hand, the heat shimmering in waves, as if the sand itself breathes. In this reverie, Bao is not burdened by the weight of travel. He simply wanders, a silent observer of the light that once guided him through this unforgiving sea. As you settle even deeper into your restful sanctuary tonight, imagine floating alongside Bao in this ethereal desert, feeling no heat, no thirst, just the serene expanse of memory illuminated by the sun's unyielding gaze. Historically, the Taklamakan was one of the most feared stretches of the Silk Road, a graveyard for countless caravans lost to sandstorms and dehydration between the 2nd century BCE and the 14th century CE. Bao recalls the terror of those days, the way the light could deceive with mirages, phantom oases that taunted weary eyes. Yet now in this dream, that same light feels gentle, a golden thread weaving through his past, connecting each step to the safety of home. Let us linger on the science of light in this desolate place, a force both beautiful and brutal. Did you know that the intense desert sunlight results from minimal atmospheric interference, allowing nearly unfiltered rays to strike the earth? This creates not just heat, but a brightness that can alter perception, tricking the brain into seeing water where there is none, a mirage formed by light bending through layers of hot air. Bao, in his memory, sees again those false pools shimmering on the horizon, but in this spiritual return, they hold no power, only a quiet wonder at light's trickery, a reminder of nature's vast mystery. Imagine with me now, Bao standing atop a towering dune in this dream, the light of the midday sun casting his shadow long and thin across the sand. He remembers a myth whispered by a fellow merchant in Dunhuang, a tale of desert spirits who danced as flickering lights at night, guiding lost souls to hidden springs. Though he never saw such spirits, the story comforted him during sleepless nights in the Taklamakan, and now in this reverie, he feels their presence as a soft glow on the horizon, a protector woven from light and lore. And you, too, might sense that gentle protection, letting the desert's vastness fade into a soothing calm as we journey through memory. In this spiritual revisit, Bao's heart finds peace with the desert's trials. The light that once burned now warms, a symbol of resilience rather than struggle. He recalls the small oasis where his caravan rested, the water reflecting the sky like a second heaven, and feels again the relief of that moment, magnified in dream. Historically, oases were lifelines on the Silk Road, often surrounded by small settlements or shrines where travelers offered thanks, and Bao, in his mind, bows to that remembered light, a silent gratitude for survival. Let this gratitude wrap around you as well, easing your thoughts deeper into rest. Chapter 14. Mountain Echoes, the Pamirs in Quiet Reverie. Let us wander into another chapter of gentle revisitation, as Bao's dreams carry him from the deserts to the towering Pamir Mountains, the roof of the world, that once stood as a barrier of ice and stone. Picture this with me, a landscape of jagged peaks piercing a crystal-clear sky, the snow glowing with an otherworldly light, as if the mountains themselves hold the sun's secret. In this quiet reverie, Bao does not climb or struggle. He simply floats, a witness to the beauty and peril of a place that shaped his journey with its unrelenting light. As you nestle deeper into your peaceful space tonight, imagine drifting with Bao over these ancient peaks, feeling no cold, no fear, just the serene weightlessness of memory bathed in dawn's first rays. Historically, the Pamirs were a formidable challenge for Silk Road merchants, with passes like the Wakjir reaching over 16,000 feet, where altitude sickness and sudden blizzards claimed many lives from antiquity through the medieval era. Bao remembers the thin air, the ache in his lungs, and the blinding light reflecting off endless snow. Yet now in this dream, that light is a friend, a soft veil illuminating the paths he once feared. Let us reflect again on the science of light in such heights, a phenomenon as striking as it is harsh. Did you know that at high altitudes, the thinner atmosphere scatters less sunlight, intensifying its brightness and ultraviolet content? This can cause snow blindness, a temporary but painful condition where UV rays damage the cornea, something Bao experienced as stinging eyes and blurred vision without understanding its cause. In this reverie, though the light holds no sting, it dances on the peaks like a celestial fire, revealing hidden valleys and forgotten trails, a reminder of how it guided him even through pain. Imagine with me now Bao hovering over a narrow Pamir Pass in this dream, the light of early morning turning the snow to a field of diamonds below. He recalls a local myth heard in Kashgar of celestial beings dwelling in these peaks, their light guiding lost travelers through storms as glowing figures. Though he saw no such beings, the story steadied his heart during howling winds, and now in memory, he feels their unseen presence, a shimmer on the horizon that whispers of safety. And you, too, might feel that whispered safety, letting the mountain's stark beauty soften into a lullaby for your mind. In this quiet revisitation, Bao finds a new understanding of the Pamirs. The light that once challenged him now reveals the strength he carried within. He remembers a fleeting moment of rest in a sheltered cave, the flicker of a small fire casting shadows on ancient rock, and feels again the warmth of that light, magnified in dream. Historically, such caves were sanctuaries for Silk Road travelers, often marked with carvings or offerings to mountain deities, and Bao, in his spirit, offers his own silent thanks to that remembered glow, a nod to endurance. Let this endurance comfort you as well, guiding your breath slower in and out as we drift onward. Chapter 15. A Final Meditation. Light as Endless Journey. Let us glide now into a final meditative chapter, as Bao's dreams and memories of the Silk Road blend into a boundless vision of light as an endless journey. Picture this with me, not a single place, but all places at once. Chang'an's bustling gates, Dunhuang's starlit caves, Samarkand's golden markets, Antioch's shimmering sea, woven together by a light that knows no beginning or end. In this vision, Bao is neither traveler nor merchant. He is simply part of the light itself, a fragment of its eternal dance across time and space, guiding and guided in an unbroken circle. As you rest in the deepest layers of tranquility tonight, imagine becoming one with this vision, standing nowhere and everywhere along the Silk Road, bathed in a light that holds every sunrise, every star, every flickering flame Bao ever knew. Let us ponder light's timeless essence beyond science or myth. It is a constant in our lives, a thread connecting past to present to dream. Did you know that light, in its purest form, travels unchanged across the universe, its photons carrying stories from the birth of stars to the moment they touch our eyes? For Bao, this endless light is the journey itself, a force that carried him across continents and now carries him into rest. Imagine with me now dissolving into this boundless light, feeling its warmth, its softness, its quiet power as it wraps around you like the gentlest breeze. Historically, the Silk Road was a network of connection, its travelers bound by the shared light of trade, culture, and story. And in this meditation, that network becomes a web of peace, linking Bao's journey to yours, his rest to your slumber. Let every memory of light, from the harsh desert sun to the tender lantern of home, fade into a single glow, a beacon not of destination, but of release, of surrender to the night. So rest here, dear wanderer, in this endless journey of light, where there is no need to walk, to strive, to remember, only to be. Feel your breath slow to the rhythm of an ancient road, in and out, each exhale carrying you deeper into a sleep as vast as the Silk Road, as gentle as twilight. The light that guided Bao across deserts and mountains now guides you into dreams, into a sanctuary where every step, every story, finds its home in stillness. Stay here under this eternal glow, and let the whispers of the road lull you through the night. Chapter 16. Reflections of Kashgar, Light as Connection. Let us drift now into another chapter of quiet reflection, as Bao's spirit, resting in the tranquility of Chang'an, wanders back to Kashgar, the bustling crossroads of the Silk Road where cultures and lights intertwined. Picture this with me, a dreamscape of narrow, winding streets alive with the chatter of a dozen tongues, stalls piled high with saffron jade and silk, all bathed in the late afternoon sun filtering through woven canopies. In this reverie, Bao does not barter or hurry. He simply observes, carried by the memory of light that connected him to strangers who became fleeting friends. As you settle even deeper into your restful sanctuary tonight, imagine lingering with Bao in this ethereal Kashgar, feeling no rush, no wait, just a vibrant glow of a city that bridged east and west. Historically, Kashgar was a pivotal hub on the Silk Road from the 2nd century BCE, located in what is now China's Xinjiang region, where merchants from China, Persia, and India exchanged goods and ideas under the same sky. Bao recalls the warmth of shared smiles in the market, illuminated by the sun's golden hues, light that seemed to dissolve barriers of language and land, binding him to others in a shared journey. Let us ponder light once more as a force of connection, both physical and emotional, in this ancient city. Did you know that natural light influences social bonding by boosting serotonin levels, a neurotransmitter linked to mood and trust? In the bright open markets of Kashgar, this biological effect fostered camaraderie among traders, easing the loneliness of long journeys. Bao, unaware of such science, felt it instinctively. The sunlight on his face as he laughed with a Persian merchant over spiced tea, their exchange lit by more than just trade, but by a mutual understanding forged in shared illumination. Imagine with me now, Bao standing in the heart of Kashgar's bazaar in this dream, the light casting intricate patterns of shadow and brightness on the cobblestones below. He remembers a local tale of a sacred fire kept in a hidden shrine, its light said to bless travelers with safe passage, a story that gave him comfort as he prepared to face the premieres. In this reverie, that fire glows softly in his mind, a symbol of the connections he made, and you too might feel that warmth, a gentle tether to others, letting the bustle of Kashgar fade into a soothing hum as we journey through memory. In this spiritual return, Bao sees Kashgar not as a stop, but as a heartbeat of the Silk Road, its light a reminder that no journey is solitary. He recalls a quiet evening by a market fire, the faces of fellow merchants softened by its glow, and feels again the unity of that moment, magnified in dream. Historically, such communal gatherings at twilight were common along trade routes, where light fostered storytelling and trust, and Bao, in his mind, offers a silent nod to that remembered connection, a thanks for the light that bound them. Let this unity comfort you as well, easing your thoughts into deeper calm. Chapter 17. Samarkand's Last Glow, Light as Inspiration. Let us wander into another chapter of gentle revisitation, as Bao's dreams carry him back to Samarkand, the pearl of the East, where light shone not just from the heavens, but from the city's very essence. Picture this with me, a vision of turquoise domes and bustling squares, the air sweet with blooming gardens, and the late-day sun glinting off intricate tiles like 1,000 tiny stars. In this quiet reverie, Bao does not trade or travel. He simply basks, a silent witness to the light that inspired wonder in a weary heart. As you nestle deeper into your peaceful space tonight, imagine drifting with Bao through this dreamlike Samarkand, feeling no hurry, no burden, just the serene brilliance of a city that felt like a dream even when he stood within it. Historically, Samarkand, in what is now Uzbekistan, was a beacon of culture and wealth on the Silk Road from the 4th century BCE, a place where Sogdian traders and later empires crafted a legacy of art and astronomy under radiant skies. Bao remembers the glow of oil lamps in the market, their warmth a counterpoint to the desert's harshness, a light that seemed to whisper of beauty beyond survival. Let us reflect on light as inspiration, a force that uplifts the spirit in places of extraordinary beauty like Samarkand. Did you know that exposure to aesthetically pleasing light, such as the golden hour's warm tones or the flicker of crafted lamps, can stimulate dopamine release, a chemical tied to pleasure and motivation? For Bao, the radiant hues of Samarkand's architecture and twilight gathering stirred a sense of awe, rekindling his drive after grueling travels. In this dream, that light shines brighter, a beacon of inspiration, reminding him of what humanity can create under the same sun that guides their paths. Imagine with me now, Bao standing before a grand mosque in this reverie, the light of dusk turning its dome to molten gold, echoing the legend of the golden tree he once heard. A mythical relic said to heal with its glow. That story, shared by a local elder, lingered in his mind as a promise of renewal, and now, in memory, he feels its healing touch, a balm to the journey's scars. And you too might sense that renewal, letting Samarkand's luminous beauty dissolve into a gentle warmth, carrying your thoughts softer, quieter, as we near the end of our tale. In this final return to Samarkand, Bao finds not just memory, but a spark of something timeless, the light that inspired him then inspires him still. Reminder to seek beauty even in hardship. He recalls a quiet moment by a fountain, its water catching the torchlight like liquid stars, and feels again the wonder of that instant, magnified in dream. Historically, Samarkand was a center of learning, where light guided scholars to map the heavens, and Bao, in spirit, offers thanks to that remembered glow, a nod to inspiration. Let this wonder ease you as well, guiding your breath slower, in and out, as we approach our journey's close. Chapter 18. The Final Horizon. Light as homecoming and farewell. Let us now glide into the last chapter of our sleep journey, as Bao's reflections and dreams of the Silk Road converge on a final horizon, a place where light becomes both homecoming and farewell. Picture this with me, a boundless vista just outside Chang'an, where the morning sun kisses the earth with a glow that feels like the first and last of all journeys. In this vision, Bao stands at the threshold of his city, his family's lantern light flickering in the distance, while behind him, the endless road stretches back to Antioch, to every place his feet have touched, all united under one eternal light. As you rest in the deepest sanctuary of your mind tonight, imagine standing with Bao on this final horizon, feeling no weight, no longing, just the perfect stillness of a journey completed, bathed in a light that holds every dawn and dusk he has ever known. Historically, Chang'an was not just the start and end for many Silk Road merchants, but a symbol of return, a cosmopolitan capital during the Han and Tang dynasties where stories of distant lands mingled with the light of home. Bao feels this completion, the light of his city a promise kept, a circle closed after thousands of miles. Let us think of light one final time as the ultimate homecoming, a force that guides us back to rest, to peace, to ourselves. Did you know that light, or its gentle absence, is the key to the deepest sleep, signaling the brain to release melatonin and ease into slumber? For Bao, the dimming light of evening in Chang'an, mirrored in this vision, feels like a call to let go, to release the road, the trials, the wonders, and simply be. In modern understanding, soft, warm light or darkness prepares the mind for dreams. And in this moment, that light becomes a bridge carrying Bao and you into the quiet beyond. Imagine with me now, Bao taking a final step toward Chang'an in this dream, the lantern light of home growing brighter as the Silk Road's vast horizon fades behind him. He sees in memory every light that guided him, the sun over the Taklamakan, the stars above Dunhuang, the fires of Kashgar, the domes of Samarkand, the sea at Antioch, and feels them merge into this single glow, a farewell to the journey and a welcome to rest. Myths from across the road whisper in his heart. Light as protection, as truth, as healing, and now as home. And you too can feel that homecoming, letting every memory of light dissolve into a tender warmth, a final embrace. So let us rest here together, on this final horizon, where Bao's journey along the Silk Road finds its end, and your journey into sleep finds its sweetest depth. Picture that light of home, whether Chang'an's lantern or your own cherished glow, wrapping around you like the softest blanket. Feel your breath slow to the rhythm of an ancient path, in and out, each exhale carrying you deeper into a slumber as vast as the road, as gentle as twilight's last kiss. This is the end of our tale, dear wanderer, the story of Bao the peaceful merchant, and the light that guided him across ancient lands. But the light does not fade, it lingers eternal, carrying you now into dreams, into a sanctuary where every step, every story, rests in stillness. Stay here under this endless glow, and let the whispers of the Silk Road lull you through the night, into a sleep as deep as the desert, as high as the mountains, as warm as home. Good night, my friend. May your dreams be lit by the same light that guided us, from beginning to forever. Light beyond the journey. Let us linger just a little longer, beyond the story's end, in a space where light exists beyond the journey, beyond time itself. Picture this with me, a realm of pure, gentle illumination, neither sun nor star nor flame, but a glow that simply is, surrounding you, holding you, without form or boundary. There's no road here, no destination, no memory, only the essence of light, a presence as old as the universe, as close as your breath. As you drift into the deepest layers of rest tonight, imagine dissolving into this boundless glow, feeling no weight, no thought, just the serene infinity of being. Let us remember that light in its truest form is a constant. Science tells us its photons travel unchanged across eons, from the heart of stars to the edge of dreams. For you. As for Bao, this light needs no name, no story. It simply guides not to place, but to peace, to slumber, to the quietest corners of your mind. Imagine with me now, letting go of all else, letting this light become your only awareness, soft and endless, washing away the day, the world, the self. Feel it seep into every part of you, a warmth that knows no end, a stillness that asks nothing but for you to rest. Historically, across every culture of the Silk Road, light was revered, as divinity, as truth, as life. And now it becomes your sanctuary, a final gift from a journey shared. So stay here, dear wanderer, in this light beyond the journey, where sleep is not an end, but a beginning, a vastness to explore in dreams. Breathe slowly now, in and out, each breath a ripple in this glow, carrying you deeper, softer, into a slumber that holds no hurry, no edge. Let this light be your guide through the night, as it was for Bao, as it is for all who wander, a timeless companion, whispering peace until the dawn. Rest now fully, deeply, and let the light carry you home. Drift deeper into this boundless glow, feeling nothing but serene infinity. Light in its truest form travels unchanged across time, from stars to dreams. For you, it guides not to a place, but to slumber, to the quietest corners of your mind. Feel it now, soft and endless, washing away all else, a warmth that knows no end, a stillness that asks only for rest. Let this light become your only awareness, seeping into every part of you, dissolving the day, the world, the self. Across the Silk Road, light was revered, divinity, truth, life, and now it is your sanctuary, a final gift. Stay here in this light beyond all journeys, where sleep holds no hurry, no edge. Breathe slowly in and out, letting this glow carry you deeper, softer, into the night. And once more, let us rest in this timeless space, picturing the light that surrounds, that holds, that is. No road, no story, just peace. Feel its warmth, its stillness, its endless calm. Let it guide you through slumber, a companion whispering peace until dawn. Rest now fully, deeply in this light eternal.